This is the story of how a 22 crore rupees purchase triggered an absolute panic inside a multi-billion-dollar global empire. For over 30 long years, Coca-Cola and PepsiCo held an absolute, unbreakable grip on India's soft drink industry. They controlled the factories, the heavy logistics trucks, and the retail store shelves, commanding a massive combined 93% market share. Breaking this duopoly was considered absolute corporate suicide until Reliance Industries stepped onto the battlefield.
Well, Coca-Cola and Pepsi's decades-long dominance in India is under threat from a 12-cent cola backed by India's richest man.
In late 2022, Mukesh Ambani quietly bought a dead, forgotten domestic soda brand called Campa Cola for just 22 crore rupees. Global executives in New York and Atlanta barely noticed. To them, it looked like a minor, nostalgia-driven joke. But they completely missed the warning signs. Reliance wasn't just launching a new beverage, they were setting up a massive capital-intensive trap designed to break the global giants at their own game. By utilizing an aggressive pricing algorithm and an unstoppable distribution loop, Reliance didn't just compete. They rewrote the entire financial playbook of the Indian FMCG industry. To truly understand why this corporate war is so intense, we must travel back in time. Campa Cola is not a new invention. In the late 1970s, the Indian government forced Coca-Cola to leave the country due to strict foreign exchange regulation policies. In the sudden absence of the global giant, a domestic brand rose to take the crown, Campa Cola. Created by the Pure Drinks Group, Campa became the absolute king of Indian summers. Its slogan, "The Great Indian Taste," was printed on billboards across every major city. For over 15 years, it was the default drink for an entire generation of Indians. But in 1993, the Indian economy opened up to global markets. Coca-Cola returned with massive capital, and PepsiCo entered with aggressive global marketing strategies. The domestic brands did not have the supply chain infrastructure or the deep pockets to fight back. Parle sold its famous brands like Thumbs Up to Coca-Cola just to survive. Campa Cola, lacking innovation and distribution power, slowly suffocated. By the early 2000s, its factories went completely silent. It became a ghost brand, existing only in the nostalgic memories of older generations. It sat completely dormant for 20 years, waiting for a buyer with enough scale to wake it up. When global brands dominate a country, the real secret weapon isn't their secret recipe. It is the distribution network fortress. For 30 long years, Coke and Pepsi built an incredibly complex, multi-layered supply chain designed to lock down the Indian geography. Let us look at how traditional FMCG distribution actually works. A product leaves the mega factory. From there, it goes to a national carrying and forwarding agent. Then, it travels to a super stockist. Next, it gets sold to a regional sub-distributor. Finally, a local wholesale salesman delivers it to the small kirana store. Every single layer in this long chain does two things. It takes extra time and it extracts a 2% to 4% profit margin for itself. This structure creates a massive entry barrier. If a new brand wants to sell a drink, it has to spend years convincing these independent distributors to carry its stock. Furthermore, because Coke and Pepsi had massive pull from consumers, they held absolute leverage over the local shops. They restricted retailer profit margins to a tight 3% to 5%. Shopkeepers made very little money per bottle, but they were forced to stock them just to keep their customers happy. It was a perfect, self-sustaining loop until Reliance decided to completely flatten the chain. Let us tear down the raw industrial cost structure of a standard soft drink to expose the unit economics. Most people believe that the liquid inside the bottle is the most expensive part. That is a complete myth. The sugary liquid proprietary syrup concentrate and carbonation inside a standard bottle cost virtually nothing, usually less than 1 rupees. So, where is your money actually going? You are paying for the plastic PET preform packaging, which costs roughly 1 rupee and 50 paise. You are paying for industrial factory conversion costs, which take another 80 paise. And the biggest margin killer of all? Regional logistics, freight fuel, and multi-tier distributor margins, which eat up a massive 3 to 4 rupees per bottle. For decades, Coke and Pepsi maintained a fixed premium entry price of 20 rupees for a single-serve pack. Reliance looked at this data and engineered a brutal economic countermeasure. They launched a 200 milliliter Campa Cola bottle for just 10 rupees. That is exactly half the price of the competition. But how can Reliance survive on these razor-thin margins without bleeding to death? The answer is total vertical integration. Instead of purchasing blown plastic bottles from third-party vendors, Reliance manufactures its own PET preforms at an extreme national volume, capturing the supplier's profit for themselves. Next, they set up localized manufacturing clusters across multiple states, ensuring that delivery trucks only have to travel short distances. This slashed the largest operational cost in the beverage business. Outbound freight, Reliance engineered a cost structure optimized to sustain thin margins through massive high-velocity volume, making it difficult for legacy brands to copy them without destroying their own profits. To get this 10 rupee product into millions of Indian shops overnight, Reliance bypassed the traditional multi-tier distribution fortress entirely. They weaponized their pre-existing digital infrastructure, the JioMart Partner Network, because millions of small Kirana shopkeepers were already using Jio Telecom services. Reliance had a direct digital gateway into their smartphones. They launched an algorithm where a shopkeeper could open the JioMart app, order boxes of Campa Cola with just 2 clicks, and have it delivered directly from a local Reliance wholesale hub to their doorstep. The middlemen were completely eliminated from the equation. With those intermediate margins saved, Reliance did something genius. They handed that extra money directly to the shopkeeper. They offered local retailers an unprecedented 6% to 8% profit margin, nearly double what the global giants were paying. Think about the math from the shopkeeper's perspective. On a 20 rupee bottle of Coke, they made roughly 80 paise. On a 10 rupee bottle of Campa, because of the high margin percentage, they made the exact same 80 paise. Suddenly, the financial incentive shifted. Shopkeepers across Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns actively began hiding competitors' stocks inside the back of their coolers, while stacking bright, fresh boxes of Campa Cola right on the front counter where every single customer could see them. For the first few months, global executives assumed the disruption was just temporary marketing hype that would eventually fade. But then, the official financial reports dropped, sending massive shockwaves through the entire stock market. Campa Cola's annual revenue aggressively skyrocketed, hitting an incredible 4,700 crore rupees. In record-breaking time, it transformed into India's 4th largest soft drink player, pulling within striking distance of legacy giants. It successfully captured a commanding double-digit volume market share in high-consumption states like Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. The defensive panic from the global incumbents was immediate. PepsiCo's master bottler in India, Varun Beverages, was forced to acknowledge the intense pricing pressure in its corporate earnings calls. To protect their regional infrastructure, they instantly announced massive capital expenditures, pouring thousands of crores into setting up brand new, highly automated greenfield bottling lines across 12 states. At the exact same time, Coca-Cola was forced to rush its own low-cost 10 rupees rural product pack variants into markets just to stop their market share from eroding further. The soft drink industry had officially transformed from a marketing playground into a brutal infrastructure war zone. The battle for India's soft drink market proves an undeniable business lesson. standalone products will always lose to interconnected corporate ecosystems. Coca-Cola and Pepsi build exceptional individual brands. But Reliance? Reliance builds integrated wealth machines. They did not just buy a vintage soda brand, they plugged Campa straight into an empire of 18,000 retail stores, a national telecom infrastructure, and an endless mountain of corporate capital. When you control absolute access to the end retail counter, you do not need to spend billions on creative advertising to persuade the customer. Your sheer omnipresence forces the market share to shift. Now, look closely at the retail shops in your own city. Comment below. Have you seen Campa Cola completely take over the shelves in your local area yet? And do you honestly think a domestic ecosystem can push Coca-Cola and Pepsi out of India over the next 3 years? Drop your sharpest technical analysis in the comments right now. Hit that subscribe button for more deep financial breakdowns, and we will see you in the next video.